Bitcoin's hashrate has suddenly spiked for unclear reasons, with it up by some 4 times more than the entire hashrate of Bitcoin Cash. On the 29th of February, Bitcoin's hashrate was at 107 petahashes per second. Now it stands at 136 as pictured above, making this one of the biggest jump in hashrate, with it unclear why it has suddenly spiked. One potential reason might be perhaps the reopening of at least one mine which was closed in China due to the new strand of flu. China is now trying to get back to normality, with workers who were previously told to stay indoors now urged to get off to work as new cases of this strand keep falling there. Another reason may be the continued advancement in ASIC speed. At least 3 such manufacturers are locked in a fierce competition in China, with the slightest gain by one risking the complete obliteration and bankruptcy of the others, as Bitcoin mining is a very zero-sum game. Yet another reason might be potentially state mining, especially Iran or Venezuela for example, which might not necessarily engage in business calculations of profits and losses to mine a coin more than on the need to have the crypto for international commerce. The apparent entrance of these new actors might have an effect on price, because business miners tend to sell to cover their costs, while trade miners might even overpay for Bitcoin through the cost of mining simply because they need it for a function instead of just mechanically. Overall, if we had to guess, we'd say the spike is probably primarily due to the apparent return of China to normality, but Bitcoin's hashrate has been on an uptrend for many months. Ethereum's wavy hashrate on the other hand looks more wavy instead of a straight up line as in Bitcoin. Ethereum's hashrate, March 2020. We can see here a clear correlation between price and hash, even to the dot in some periods, with miners in ETH arguably suffering in quite a bit. That's because some of them should have gone bankrupt, and may have well done so, as mining needs a more long-term approach and plan to weather the storms and to not get too exuberant when the sun is too shiny. Some of them are however trying to get a bailout instead through ProgPo, even though the clear difference between Bitcoin's hashrate trajectory and that of ETH is probably due to Bitcoin having its own unique hardware, while ETH is more kind of merged mined. That's because ETH currently runs on Gipus, which can mine any coin, with merged mine not quite being the right term because ETH is the biggest, but it is kind of the same in an overall conceptual view in as far as ETH miners don't necessarily need to care about it, while Bitcoin miners depend fully on BX and maybe to some extent the smaller forks of it, making BX2 semi-merge mined nowadays, but the other coins are such a small fraction and arguably will remain so as long as they share the same hash as Bitcoin. Hash complexity for small amounts, say $1 or even $10 million, you might minusculely think about miners potentially double spending, but you probably wouldn't really fret about it. If however you're removing $100 million, let alone a billion, just how safely that would go through the network could be a consideration if it takes say just one rogue pool miner in BX to send a bit of their hash to Beach to mess with your transaction. Still, they can only double spend their own coin or turn a confirmed transaction into an unconfirmed one. They can change the accounts themselves or ownership except by reversing confirmation of transaction between the two genuinely transacting parties. So the endeavor would be a bit pointless unless it was a transaction fee they're fighting over. In that case, who gets the block matters because they get the fee. But if it is the moving of value itself, at most all they can do is cause confusion. Thus theoretically the amount of hash doesn't matter at a technical level except to lower the chances of denial of service, with it here meaning the reliability of confirmed transactions and the time it takes for it. Simplistis deceptus status in simple Bitcoin. In ETH, there is Defiant tokens and a whole universe which could potentially make things more complicated at hash security level. How is a good question, and it is a good question because you can read full post on Cryptophans News, link available in text below.